Okay.
Nice looking camera tripod you got back there.
Yeah, it's a decent one. Hey everybody, why don't you come on in here, take a seat. Filling up in here, so get in quick. The podcast for Empathy and Imagination. My name is Aubrey. Special COVID edition.
Special COVID-19 series, right? Oh man. Woo.
What a time to be alive.
Yeah, man. We haven't checked in a while. Can we ask just the first of how you were doing and then go over some of the shit that's going on?
I'm doing pretty good, actually. I'm starting to look like a crazy person. My hair growing my skullet out.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Cool.
But yeah, it's funny. I might actually have long hair a couple years. Doing pretty good. Still working from home. Probably till the end of August.
Okay. Then you'll be back in the office?
And then I'll be back in the office. We're going to have limited hours probably next week. Yeah, it's weird. It's weird having moved right when the pandemic lockdown started. That's kind of weird.
Sort of lucky that you moved when you did.
Yeah.
You'd have been maybe stuck where you were.
Yeah, it would have been unfun. But I don't know, getting antsy. Getting antsy. Just playing a lot more bass. As you can see, I have a camera clipped to the top.
Ah.
And I did have one clipped down here, which is pretty cool. So I want to do multicam simultaneous live stream of bass. I think that would be good for some regular bassist stuff.
Yeah, you're going to live stream the whole thing?
Well, eventually it would be cool to just hop on and do a live stream and just shoot the shit. Periscope where you get, there's a chat and you can get feedback and stuff.
Fuck yeah, dude. That's cool to hear. So you said you're getting antsy. What are you antsy for?
Just, I don't know, just like cabin fever kind of thing. Like anxiety, antsiness, midlife crisis. I think midlife crisis is really just midlife anxiety. It's not really a crisis.
You feeling an urge to buy a Corvette?
Feeling urged by Tesla.
Modern Corvette, yeah.
Actually, I heard, well, let's check in with you. How are you doing?
Yeah, let me check in. I'm actually also doing very well. I wasn't doing so well. A few days ago, maybe a week ago, so ago, I was feeling a lot more anxiety. Yeah, I know what I'm cabin fever for. I'm cabin fever for going to bars, being sort of intoxicated, and having no holds barred, no boundaries conversations with strangers about interesting topics. I'm so thirsty for debate, dialogue, questioning ideas, having my ideas questioned, Yeah.
I mean, dangerous. This is dangerous game, friend.
I know. It's
like not question allowed. Anything.
I just,
I hear that.
I don't want to be right all the time. And that's, so I'm not. So that's easy.
Yeah. I would hate to be right all the time because it's like you're not growing at all.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's possible to be right all the time.
Like, I don't know if I'm growing. I'm not growing very much intellectually right now. I don't think I am. I mean, I'm reading a really great book. I have things to talk about this book called Sapiens. Yuval Noah Harari. I'm about halfway into the book, and it's juicy. There's some things to share. Like, that way I'm getting intellectually challenged. But I have, like, there's this one client I have who's a therapist. Actually, several of my clients are therapists. And she comes out and talks to me every so often, and she's super eloquent and super calm and confident, which is not like every therapist. Some therapists are more weird. But she was like, she's very good with her words, and she says complete sentences that aren't run on. She doesn't get lost halfway through a sentence. She's speaking like an adult, which I very rarely hear anymore. And I like told her that. I'm like, just coming here, I didn't say this, but I was thinking, like, you almost have to pay me. Just talking, like, I can say the biggest, scariest, most intellectual sentence, and it's not like she stumbled up by what the words were, or like talking to you. Like, I could tell you a big theory, a 2 long paragraph, and you'd be like, okay, well, I like this part or that part, but I don't know if this part, like, I just am really starving for that. But what else I'm starving for has worked out. Look at this sweet spelt body.
Yeah, pretty good.
So I'm
Nice.
The other real news is that I'm 1 pound away from my original weight loss goal from when I injured my back and had the bulging disc going on. So as far as
nice.
feeling physically really good, because I don't know if you ever whenever you lose weight, it's usually like, oh wow, everything's easier, I feel lighter, and
yeah,
that was hard before. So that's feeling really good. So, like,
nice.
Yeah, I'm gonna make a new goal and keep doing things physically, but yeah, that's what I can focus on basically. That's how I'm doing.
Sounds great.
That's my check-in.
Pretty good.
Yeah, man. So okay, there's lots. Speaking of intellectual conversation, there's lots I'd love to chat with you about. I know you probably have things to think about. I mean, there's where do we start? What's the most important to you right now?
I don't know. It seems like the country thinks it's disagreeing, but it's actually everyone's agreeing. It's like we're so trained to fight against each other that even when we agree, we seem to somehow be fighting each other. Like,
yeah, tell me more about that. What are we agreeing on? What's the nation agreeing on?
Well, I think everyone could agree that police brutality is a bad thing.
Oh yeah,
and so it's kind of amusing, sad, tragic, cool, weird that people are protesting, but there's really no one on the other side.
There's no anti-protest of this.
There's no one's like, no, police brutality is good. There's no one arguing that. So we're in this weird phase of everyone's pissed off because they all agree, which is just odd. And
we're pissed. I think because we agree that the way the police are structured is not going to work long term. Not everywhere. It's basically like, hey, we need to shift our values and our funding and our training. And I don't mean like we should put everyone who is a cop on the streets with no money and no future. I don't mean that. I mean, I think certain cities are like, it's going to happen, in like little pockets, and then whatever the happening is. Like, I just sent in a text. I didn't post it online. It was like, there's a certain number of cities now that are working towards defunding the police. And what they would do is they would take that funding into other community organization things. And they had like a list of like, basically take police out of mental health situations, take police out of homelessness situations, take police out of like basically the things that they're have classically not so great at, like riot or crowd control, like, but do have police to do the things that they're like maybe better at. Like there's a better history of like helping domestic violence cases. Like that seems to be, cops seem to be okay at that. And there's probably another good list of things like I mean, I'm not impressed with the highway patrol and like because everyone's breaking the rules all the time, and they just choose who they're going to punish, and then they pick at random or not at random, whatever, you know. So it's like, but yeah, so defunding police so that there would be less of them and they would do less of what a community needs. So the funding could go to some other organization that would be more suited for like mental illness, social mental illness situations. I don't know.
Yeah, I would say let's build a city in the middle of the desert and test any ideas we have at a small scale and see if they work.
Yeah. We have to, well, I mean, Fly Ranch is doing that.
Because it's like we said a few episodes back, like reality is anachronistic. It seems like all the institutions that we're used to, the whole lockdown has just sort of brought it home that we're living in a world that's not built for current people.
Yeah, well, we're living in a world that's so worried about defense, like very focused on defense, but has such enormous glaring vacancies where it would be the only thing you could guarantee you need defense from, like occasional viruses or weather systems or, you know, the shit you can count on. We just weren't really ready. We didn't really spend the money before. Everyone's talking about wanting to spend the money now. But how are we going to get that money if we're going to have a 10-year dip in the economy again? Another one.
Yeah, one problem is that the government is completely incompetent. I mean, we knew that though. We've all been to the DMV, right?
That's how the whole government works.
That's, you know, if you look at the DMV, it's a microcosm for the efficiency and effectiveness of the rest of the government. And so they don't do many things well, although they do some things very well. So that sounds very libertarian, I guess.
May I even interject and say the government I would picture in certain arenas would probably be very inefficient for certain parts. And that to me, so as a goal, efficiency of a government is like part of the answer. There has to be some other, it's basically like needs meeting. Can we measure and meet the needs of the people and environment in which the people live? And seek to gain maximum joy and flourishment for humans and non-human animals.
Yeah, has any government employee been laid off during the lockdown?
Not. You mean the billions of dollars that's being? Yeah. Well, was the DC area Metropolitan Police Department, their budget for 2021 just swole to $6 billion. The greater LA area, it's $1.4 billion a year.
Yeah, I didn't know that police departments got federal funding. I just realized or found that out recently.
It's enormous too.
I was like, why?
Billion. I mean, it's billions of dollars.
My tax dollars going to, you know, some LA precinct.
Yeah, definitely. Your tax dollars in Massachusetts do help pay for LA precinct cops.
Yeah. I don't know. It's also fucking crazy.
We've been paying for all this and so much more and all the wars. Like what are we, how surprised should we really be? You know, it's like we've been.
Yeah, it's demoralizing.
Cold War debts from the first Cold War. We still have holdout. We're just stationing people places to make sure America has its dick out. You know, it's like.
It would be cool to have an itemized, when you do your taxes, to have an itemized list. Here's what your taxes went towards, you know?
You know what? See, there you go, talking numbers and cents again, mister.
Yeah, you got it.
Because you know what would happen? There'd be a significant portion missing.
Sure.
There would be a line item significant of like
miscellaneous. Yeah.
I don't know where your money went.
If you want to change it, measure it.
Yeah, true. Yeah, what you want to get lighter? Weigh yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a good
So
scale.
I don't know.
Well, my friend, I do have band practice later, but I can have a little
Well, truly,
time back.
truly outrageous.
This brought to you by Truly. We would normally have beer here, but I am having less beer these days.
Yeah, me
But
too. This is a special occasion, so I pulled out the
Yeah.
cloud candy.
Oh, cheers.
Yeah, I've been drinking way less
Actually
beer.
really good. Maybe I seem like a. Have you had this flavor? Oh my gosh.
I've had the brand, and I don't know if I've had that flavor. But it's the start of the golden age. We got some growing pains to go through. There's going to be some pain and suffering.
Can I throw a list at you? Are you prepared?
Yeah.
Okay. I have something that I actually made a post at, and I'm hoping it's easily findable. So then, yeah, let's do this. Here it is. Okay.
For our white friends desiring to be allies. Okay.
So, like, a lot of white people that I know or in my family are looking for things like this. They're looking for, like, oh, okay, well, what is the word from the blacks to tell me what to do? I'm not going to read the whole thing to you. I'm going to skip ahead to the list. There's six things in the list, and actually wrote a response to all six.
Okay, good. See, it's good if you have a movement that's breaking things and rioting. Maybe not. Maybe it's not them that's doing it, but
yeah,
if you have a movement and everyone agrees with you, that means you made the sale. So what do you do when you make the sale? You have a list of demands or requests, and for me, that's been a big blind spot. Is like, well, what do you like? No one disagrees with you. What do you want? And then they're like, well, stop police brutality. Like, okay. Give me something concrete. Give me like a next step. Give me something I can measure so that we know if we're making progress. Because if you just have these like ghosts, right? Because that's all things like institutional racism and systemic racism. Those are just ghosts that they're out there. Can't do anything about it, but they're out there and beware.
Yeah, I agree.
It's kind of like I don't disagree that those things exist. It's just how do you get rid of a ghost that you can't see? Like what, I need some kind of action step. So
yeah,
please go ahead.
Thank you. Number 1, listen more, talk less. You don't have to say something all the time. You don't have to post something on social media that points out how liberal, how aware, how cool, how good you are. You are a lovely human and amazing. You have also had the microphone for most of the time, for a very long time. And it will be good to give the microphone to someone else who is living a different experience than yours. That's
Okay.
number 1. I'm going to read number 2 now.
Okay.
Number 2. For 1 out of every 3 opinions, insights shared by a person of color in your life, try to resist the need to respond with a better or different insight about something that you read or listen to as it relates to their shared opinion. Try just to listen and sit with someone else's experience. When you do share in response to what someone has shared with you, it can sometimes, not always, feel like white-splaining, meaning to explain or comment on something in an overconfident or condescending way. This adds to the silencing of the voices of people of color. Okay, I know. Bold. Number 3, being an ally is different than simply wanting not to be racist. Thank you for that, by the way. Being an ally requires you to educate yourself on about systemic racism in this country. Read Michelle Alexander's The New Jim Crow and E.C. Coates' Between the World and Me, and Claudia Rankine's Citizen, and so many other great books and articles that illuminate oppression, structures of white supremacy, and white privilege. Use your voice and influence to direct the folks that walk alongside you in your real life, or for all you on the internet, toward the voice of something that is living a marginalized/disenfranchised experience. There's 6. Number 4, please try not to, quote, I can't believe that something like this would happen in this day and age, end quote. Your way into being an ally with atrocities like the events in Charleston, South Carolina, and Charlottesville, Virginia happen. People of color have been aware of this kind of hatred and violence in America for centuries, and it belittles our experience for you to show up 300 years late to the oppression of the party suddenly caring about the world. Don't get me wrong, I welcome you. I want for you to come into a place of awareness, however, your shock and outrage at the experience of racism in America echoes the fact you have lived an entire life. The luxury of indifference about the lives of marginalized/disenfranchised folks. Please take several seats. Number 5, ask when you don't know, but do the work first. This is nuanced. Some marginalized, disenfranchised folks will tell you not to ask them anything. Don't be offended by that. Folks are tired. And that is understandable because it is exhausting to be a marginalized person in this world. However, there is something special that happens within human connections and relationships. In a nutshell, don't expect people to educate you. Do the work to educate yourself. Ask questions within relationships that feel safe and do so respectfully. And finally, number 6, stop talking about color blindness. It's not a thing. Color blindness is totally impossible in a nation whose land was taken from the indigenous inhabitants through an attempt at genocide and horrific colonization. The same nation that enslaved humans and exploited them in every way imaginable built a nation on their backs, hung them, hunted them, and for centuries kept them from their basic inalienable rights, and still does. The same nation that exploits and deports immigrants who were promised refuge within the American Constitution, the same nation that incarcerated Japanese Americans during World War II, continues to promote bigotry, exclusion, violence, blah, blah, blah. Confederate flag-toting anti-Semitic racists who have a platform for their hate. The same nation that promised religious freedom yet targets those who do not believe in a white capitalist Jesus. Okay, that's all of them. Thanks for listening. Would you like to respond?
Sure. Well, it's been nice having a channel on YouTube.
Yeah.
The internet was cool, but I guess I'll be canceled shortly.
Yeah. Listen to me say that whole thing.
Well, I like the listening part.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
There's a lot of ironies, though, because it's admonishing, I guess, white people for being condescending, yet the whole thing's very condescending. But the main problem is if you say, hey, white people, here's what you have to do to solve this problem. Aren't you giving the power to the white people? Like, isn't the whole point that you don't want, white people to be this white privilege? Like, if you're telling white people what to do, aren't you giving them the power over your movement?
Like if you say, it's not my job to explain to you, you should do your own research.
Yeah, like you have to change. It's up to you to fix the problem.
Yeah, that puts the ball back in our court, which again gives us the power to do what we want with the ball.
Right. So I couldn't disagree more with all that stuff.
Yeah. May I now, since you've said that, let me tell you what I responded with. And I did this publicly.
Good.
So this was a comment I made. Not afraid.
More courageous than I am, I think.
My intentions are clear, I think. Golly, we need good strategy for building peace. Sadly, reading this article left me still wanting more. There's a list of 6 things to do to be a good ally in this article. And here's my response here. Number 1 was listen more, talk less. I think we all agree with that. Sounds great.
Yeah.
Number 2 was respond to things less often if a person of color wrote it, which is basically like,
shut up.
Shut up. Number 3, read stuff about systemic racism.
Controlling speech.
Right.
The one thing I hate the most in life.
Basically, are you trying to engage with the problem? Don't.
Yeah, shut up.
That's what they're saying.
Sit down and shut the fuck up.
Listen more. Don't engage. Okay, read stuff about systemic racism. That's number 3. I have done some. I could do more.
Sure.
Number 4, bummer, man. Go backwards in time to have learned more about systemic racism. That was the number 4 that made the list. Like, don't be like making people wrong for ignorance is like a foolish endeavor.
Right.
Because if someone doesn't know something and you're like, know it already, it's like, come on. That's stupid.
It also seems ignorant of history that some of the things in there. For example, slavery still exists in a modern
We're the only nation to do it. Every nation has done it.
And more so now than when there were slaves in America. There's more slavery nowadays. It's not in America. It's places like Libya and stuff.
Yeah. Open human cash sale, like on YouTube.
Thank you, Hillary.
Yeah. Okay, so number 4 was go backwards in time and learn more, which is like, what kind of advice is that? That's non-advice.
It's shitty advice because, go ahead.
Number 5, ask people of color you are close with questions about race, but do not expect an answer. That was kind of the point. It was like, you can maybe ask people you were close with, but don't expect much. And it's like, that's really the thing to do is like, okay, number 6, my least favorite. Don't hope for a unified world. Keep race in the front of the debate. That's what number 6 is. Don't hope for a unified world and keep race in the front of the debate.
So it's so cynical, those demands, or whatever they are. I don't know what they are. Requests.
I like 2 of them.
Yeah, but it's just so cynical. Like every single nation on Earth was conquered.
Yeah,
it's not just America.
Native people, our supposed ancestors, also took over other Native people's places. Like gentrification is a circle.
Right.
So
yeah, it's very dispiriting because it just seems so counterproductive and kind of ignorant of history. I don't know.
We have this thing where I look like a certain kind of human and other humans look like other kinds of humans, but you're only looking so far back on the calendar to know where you belong. It's like, I go back 1,300 years and I'm Irish of my family. But if I just go back a little bit further, we are all
killers, exploiters.
We are all the people from the Horn of Africa who first experimented walking north. Like there's not like, of course, because you can breed an Asian person with an African person and they make a baby. So we're the same species. You take a Chihuahua and a Doberman Pinscher, they can make a baby, they're the same species. So like the whole worrying about the skin color thing matters because I have seen and done a lot of research to get some of the systemic racism. I get that it is there. I also get that I don't know how to stop it. I have no power to, essentially. It's like, the power I have is to like think about it when making decisions.
Huh.
So I don't know what to do there.
Yeah, the problem with focusing on the past is that it's an infinite game of grievance, right?
Yeah.
If we focused on the future, that would be cool. But we seem to be hung up on the past. When the fact is, like, you've never had more opportunities to be successful in America, no matter who you are. If you're a minority, if you're an immigrant, hiring managers will salivate if you apply for a job. They'll be psyched. So can we focus on like successes, like steps that lead to success, rather than just bitching about things in the past that no one alive remembers or is responsible for?
Yeah.
So it just seems so it's like an endless war, because how do you measure when it's done? How do you measure, like, okay, everyone's equal? We got rid of systemic racism. If you could tell me how you would measure that, I would be sort of more open to that argument, because right now it seems like it could just be endless and it would just never end, because there's no clear end point.
What if every American citizen who wasn't black had to pay 5% of their income into a fund that went to the recipients of the Slavery Equalization Foundation for 10 years? 10 years we gave 5%, and that paid, like, what if it was something weird? I'm just fucking no idea if that would work.
Sure. It would probably mostly work. I think you want to take people out of it, though. Like if you did, let's say, if you were born, if you were born between, I don't know, 2000, 2010, and you're American citizen and you're black, you get free college. The government pays for it. So it would come out of taxes, but it wouldn't be like, be more sort of behind the scenes. And then those people get free college. So one generation of blacks gets free college. Does that make up for it? Like, again, how do you know, right?
Well, we kind of, on the pyramid scheme arc of America, from your here's the pyramid scheme arc from your perspective. When slavery was happening, we were here, and that's how all the Koch brother and the Ford and the JP Morgans got all the main capital in America here on the arc of the pyramid scheme of capitalism.
Sure. Rockefeller.
So most of the money was gathered here. We are now here. This is the end of capitalism. We are right here.
Okay.
So giving them 1 year of free college, it's not going to be enough. My first response.
Okay. Well, how do you know when it's enough?
Okay, good question. What if when the African American community of the United States as a whole has gone from having, this amount of wealth across to this amount of wealth across?
Okay.
Like once, isn't America like 13% black? About
that, yeah.
Yeah. So say those 13% of Americans went from having, 1/10 of the economic wealth.
Okay, so you
measure 13% of the economic wealth of the nation. I don't know.
Sure. Okay, there we go. So the sort of economic wealth of the black community, with regards to the rest of the economy, that would be a way to measure it. So let's say we did that. Would everyone agree that that's the right way to measure it? And then it would just be over, and we're like, okay, see, we did reparations, done. Now cool. What?
Well, now let's party.
Right.
Let's go to Mars.
My point is just that there's no clear end point.
Yeah. Well, the way it is now, it is ghosts. You're like swiping fly swatters at ghosts, and you're supposed to feel guilty if you're white. Which is like, if that's the zeitgeist for now, I can deal with a little guilt for a while. It's like, it just can't be that I'm going to die at 99 years old and I just still feel guilty for ancestors that had sex that I happen to get here from. It's like,
right.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm more, it's like this, on that topic, something I've been learning about is the baby boomers, more directly about their wealth extraction. And this has to do a bit with the African American inequality, but it's not totally, it's partially related. And that is that the people who were the people of World War II, when they got back and they had sex, there was a lot of people, here they are. There's a lot of people, Gen Xers, professional experts, multiple doctor, like Eric Weinstein. He is a person who's very eloquently explained the problem with the boomers hoarding their incredible amount of wealth that they have.
And weirdly,
acquired.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, they're hoarding it. It's not the silent generation, the one before them. I'm wondering what happened to like teach them not, or to only care for yourself and not care for your children, the next generation. Hence, we have the baby
Depression.
boomers owning the depression, of course, but the baby boomers own Shell, Exxon, Mobil, Philip Morris. That's who own these companies.
I think that they were spoiled by the abundance that happened after World War II.
Yeah. Well, they had an amazing job. You could have a paper route and have a home, and you could save up a couple summers and have a vacation home if you worked dishes at a cafe.
Yeah,
that's not what the fuck's going on.
You could work for
UCLA,
GE for 50 years and get a gold watch and get a pension at the end, and
it raises every other year. But UCLA cost $55 a year in 1949 or whatever.
Right.
And it's $55,000 a year now. So in 70 years, it's gone up 1,000, not percent, times, 1,000 times.
It's a scam. And the University of Virginia originally, Thomas Jefferson was involved, and it was free. If you lived in Virginia, you just go for free.
Right. It's like colleges aren't offering much now, especially since people like Elon Musk has made it clear that you can get an education and work for him without a degree, for sure.
So the benefits of college are networking and just getting a credential. So it's a credential shop with networking. I think the networking is still valuable. I don't think it's worth what colleges are paying, but it is a valuable thing because, for me, I left my almost like high school identity and sort of could almost remake myself when I went to college, because nobody knew me. And you develop relationships and stuff. So I think that is hugely important, but we could establish networks and relationships, physically in the same space without having to go to college and without having to pay tons of money.
I just pictured a beachfront WeWork space that when you're done with high school, these age people go live and work there and go to online school wherever their online school is, but they still cohabitate.
Yeah.
And they still have groups and clubs and stuff.
Yeah. So I think this is why I'm excited about building cities from the ground up. So you sort of establish the community first. You see what the community does physically and
based
sort
on
of
the space,
mentally, and then you sort of build around that. So it's not like you go to the city and you just inhabit these buildings that are already built. You create the physical space of the city through just where do people go? How are they moving? How are they acting? And that seems really exciting because cities seem antiquated, especially with lockdown and remote work and stuff. It just seems like cities, why would you live in a city? I understand there's a lot of sort of energy in a city. Everyone's doing stuff, it's a city that never sleeps, that kind of stuff.
2 a.m. pizza, that's really good.
Right, exactly. You can go to the bagel shop or the Indian food or whatever, Pakistani food. But it seems like there's so many paradigms that the lockdown has put into relief, all these paradigms that just need upgrading or don't work as well as they could. And I think that's a positive outcome of the lockdown, COVID. At the same time, it all seems like a fucking scam.
I think we'll learn in a year and a half what the real numbers are. There's no rushing the fact that we'll have to tease out the actual COVID deaths from who was called a COVID death because they died during that time. And they may have had it, but it wasn't the main cause of their death.
Yeah.
So if we tease all those out, we'll really, and this is going to take a while.
Yeah.
We'll know. And
Um,
I'm over it. My mother-in-law's here. Or they're with the girl somewhere else, but they came to visit this weekend.
yeah, it's weird. It's almost it's a psychological thing, which once you decide you're over it, you're over it. So many things in life are like that. You can just choose your filter and see and change your reality. I was thinking the other day, like, what if like 6 years ago, I just stopped watching the news? And I thought, well, let's say 6 years ago, I stopped watching the news. I didn't know what the fuck was going on, current events, uh, at all. I didn't know who the president was or anything like that. Like, would my life be different today if I had not watched the news? Would it be better, worse? Probably would be about the same. I'd probably be happier, a little bit happier. But so the point is, how much does news actually contribute positively to my life? And the answer is zero.
It's near zero. It's the, hey,
Zero.
look, it's a lion.
Yeah.
That's what the news is doing. Hey, look, it's a lion.
Hey, somebody died halfway around the world. When back in the day, it was like news was like, hey, Johnny down the street died. And you're like, oh shit, I knew
Or
Johnny.
this bill is in the Senate now.
Yeah, like, oh, I knew Johnny. I can relate to that. Wow. It was all community news. You sort of knew, the Dunbar number. You sort of knew you were sort of more connected to your community because you knew everybody. And in a weird sort of crossback to college, that's sort of what college is. If you go to a small college like I did, it's like you pretty much know everybody in the college from all.
How many people are we talking about for faculty, staff, and students?
I forget the numbers on my college, but my class was, probably maybe 200 people.
That's exactly, yeah, there you go. That's the number that people can remember.
Yeah, so maybe there's 1,000 students on campus or something. And if you ask people, a lot of times if they like went to a boarding, if they boarded at college, a lot of times they'll say, yeah, it was the greatest time of my life. And a lot of the reasons, you're young, you don't have a lot of responsibilities, you meet a lot of new people. A lot of it's just the way it's designed, because you're all sort of on this one place, physical place. You don't have to worry about sleeping. You don't have to worry about food. Every sort of meal is like, you just communal. It's not like you're just dining with one or two people. It's like you can dine with whoever you want to. A lot of things are taken care of. And if you design a city in the same way that you design like a college campus, I think that would work really well. And I think we could test that small. And I think Bill Gates might be at the forefront of this, because he's supposedly building some city somewhere. And then if you add in, so this goes back to the police thing. If you add, if you have self-driving cars in your community, let's say there's no non-self-driving cars, that the police responsibility goes way down. Like, you don't need as many police. So often police are doing speeding tickets, traffic stops for bullshit,
fender benders,
going the wrong way on some way, fender benders,
burnout.
All this time, all this cop time is taken up just with bullshit shit that's related to cars and traffic. So if you have self-driving cars, you wouldn't need as large of a police force. So maybe if you have cities that are designed from the bottom up with things like self-driving cars, you have maybe drone delivery, you have maybe cameras most places, but there is like a focus on privacy, stuff like that. If you had like communal internet, self-driving cars would bring insurance way down too, right? So you're paying like $5 a year in
You just
car
ride.
car
You just
insurance.
say, hey, I wanna go somewhere. You pull your phone out. You go, oh, I want to go to the basketball court. Boop.
Yeah,
Car's a minute.
and it's like
You're going.
there's a little fender bender, and it's like, well, neither of us are really at fault.
Yeah,
It's
we already
just a
paid
car.
for it. So
We already paid for it.
let's pay the guy.
Cars aren't going very fast anyway. We're all, so technology can solve a lot of problems.
But we have to remember this too. When you're talking about an important thing about college, I want to bring this up too, that you don't have to think about where you're going to sleep. You don't have to think about what you're going to eat.
Right.
So what we're doing is we're subsidizing, we're paying farmers, and we're paying bed and room builders with other money so that we can spend this person's life donated to build up what this other richer person needs, so they don't have to think about farming for their own food or building their own house or bed. They can just think about, can I pass this test?
Mm-hmm.
And man, oh, that is such a costly endeavor. If you really think about what it takes to do that for somebody, it's huge. And I worry that is part of the problem. I almost think extreme specialization like that should be good less often than it is. I think more generalization is going to help more people. Like, what if college was free and it meant 5 hours a week in the communal garden doing something. Right. And so it's not like it takes up all of your consciousness to do it, but it is not nothing. So like there's this specialization of, and you actually have to help maintain the building too, like 5 hours a week or whatever it is.
Right.
So people are like hurting their fingers trying to nail things. Girls, excuse me, some girls, never done a hammer before. Daddy fixed it. Their car is an appliance to them. They turn the key, it doesn't work, they call. I don't know. So they get there, they hurt themselves, they learn because they don't want to hurt themselves again.
Yeah. And
so something about the extreme specialization in our circular city for the future, I think there has to be some
crossover.
A little bit.
Yeah, because I mean, when I went to college, I did work study, which is like you just work. You don't really get paid. You just get paid in the sense that it offsets your tuition.
And where'd you work?
I worked in the dining hall, library, and then computer labs.
Just doing basic stuff?
Yeah, totally basic
unplugging
shit.
And plugging things back in?
Yeah. But in the dining hall, it was like changing out the milk, big old milk fucking things.
Sounds dirty.
Yeah. That's why I got out of that as quickly as I could. But so the idea is like, similar idea where you're exposed to things you wouldn't normally be exposed to.
So why does that kind of thing still happen?
I think so. Yeah, if you're like a poor kid like I was, you have to work.
What if all the rich kids had to do that too to go to Ivy League?
There's something to that.
Right? Well, it's like I love throwing the spear super far one direction. It's all humans love that.
Yeah.
Because we want to meet the Bill Gates or the Elon Musk, who's smart enough, for lack of another term, to get us to fucking Mars, fix the electric car problem, fix the traffic problem, and get us across continental transportation in minutes. So I'm for. He couldn't exist if he was forced to work in fields, and like my idea about trying to non-specialize, like it would be less impressive. So there's like, I don't want to go. I don't want to. I still think we should have the Elon Musk. We should fund the Elon Musks of the world, and it probably wouldn't hurt him if he spent another 5 hours a week socializing as a kid. Probably wouldn't have hurt him.
Yeah.
He's kind of a weirdo.
Yeah. God bless the weirdos.
Yeah, we need him. That's why I'm thinking about maybe a shirt for the podcast and Empathy and Imagination that says something like, Looking for imperfect allies.
I like it. Write that down.
Because I'm not perfect, and I can use allies. And if you expect all of your allies to be exactly like you, that's a real small group. So
it just sounds boring too.
Yeah. Oh man. Okay. I definitely have a garden update too.
Yeah, what do you got now?
You guys ready for that?
I'm ready. Do I have any music for that?
Look at that.
Slackers.
Yeah. This is their downtime.
Getting a little choppy. Oh, we lost him. Well, today's episode is brought to you by Final Corp, as always. Final Corp, it'll be fine.
Final Corp. It'll be fine.
Hey, you there? Okay, there we go. Oh. Home Wi-Fi. It's always a gamble. Oh, there we go. You're back. That might be the limit of your range. Looks like you got a tent out there.
Yeah. We actually had our first guest stay in the tent.
Huh. What's that thing in the corner over there? Is that the chicken coop? Yeah.
Over here. I think I actually have to do it inside. Yeah, because the Wi-Fi. So
yeah. Oh, cool little curtain.
Yeah, this is the fly net now. It's
Fly
magnet.
net.
So yeah, back there you're asking what the wooden structure over there is, this thing?
Yeah.
I built that. That is our ground play certified rabbitry extension. So the babies, once they're weaned off the mother, instead of being in a cage their whole life, they get to go run around and jump and bite and scratch and be rabbits. So it's like another level of better than organic.
Nice. And what have we got in the garden?
So yeah, uh-oh. Oh, there he is.
What do we got in the garden?
Slow-mo. Working on it. There he is.
You back? What's in the...
I'm back.
What do we got growing in the garden?
So let's see if I can there's hundreds of shits, man. Can you see all right?
Yeah, that's fucking great, man.
Yeah, we've got tomatillos, tomatoes, every herb, squash, raspberry, cannabis, sunflower, kale, squash, all the things, man.
Nice.
You see it there? Pretty chill.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we got our chickens and our rabbits. And so the garden update is a total flourishment.
Nice. It's awesome.
Yeah.
So what are you going to do for the last week in August?
Well, I think if you're available, and I think whoever else is available, what I want to do is get in my truck probably with, take all the pool things out of it, put all like camping gear and stuff in it. And it's like, I kind of have two ideas. Idea number one is there's something going to be going on in the Black Rock Desert. I wonder if we could get there and participate. That's idea number one.
Sort of surreptitiously happening there?
You know, I just doubt,
unsanctioned?
yeah, I doubt nothing's going to happen there. I doubt it.
Mm.
So I'm wondering if we could be a part of that something. Or, you know, it could be like this. Maybe you fly here, you empty the truck out, give it a good cleaning, pack our shit in. Maybe we bring Inferno, maybe not. I don't know. Probably not. We head towards the desert. We kind of see what the vibe is. If it's not cool or there's nothing happening, I say we either go to Yosemite or some other, maybe a national park in Nevada, and like camp the fuck out as much as possible.
Yeah, that would be awesome, man. I would love to do that.
Dude,
I would love to do the maybe have some filter altering substances. You there? Froze.
Elements of the blood-brain barrier, I think you were saying. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, reality filter options.
Reality filter options. Yeah, there's definitely now legal in my area, so perfect.
Really?
In Oakland, all Mother Earth made psychotropics are no longer illegal.
Huh.
So you can have shrooms in Oakland. That's
wow.
Cool. Yeah. It's not where the city I'm in, but I mean, yes, it is.
Right. Well, is Evan in Oakland or is he in Berkeley?
He's directly in Oakland, yeah.
Okay.
So he never has, but even if he did have anything,
right.
He wouldn't.
Wow, it's amazing. See, that's cool. That's that seems like something that's long overdue. Like
you can have ayahuasca,
war on drugs. Give me a break.
In Oakland. Well, those three are like, how could you hurt someone? How could you? Is there? I mean, if an idiot took a lethal dose, I mean,
yeah, you could hurt yourself, but
accidents. Because if anyone choosing, you can't get addicted. You can't. It's not like, oh man, I did it last night. Let's do it again tonight. It's like, no, I need a break.
Yeah, and you don't get all psychotic.
No, you don't try to jump off buildings.
It's not like meth or PCP or something. Yeah.
You try them from the ground first.
Yeah, that'd be fun. So you have that whole week off last week in August?
Yeah, actually the weekend before.
Let me just look at my calendar real quick.
As well, yeah. So I'll have something like 10 days off, something like that. Basically, we could leave like Friday at 1 p.m. the weekend before.
On the 22nd, it's a Saturday.
Let's see. August 22nd is the Saturday. Well, that's so the 28th is the last. Or no, yeah. When is that? Huh? It's Friday. Would that start? Probably the 21st. Probably, yeah. Well, whenever that's supposed to be. Yeah. So then, yeah, I would be available at like 1 p.m. on the 21st. To like start driving somewhere far. But yeah, so that's a thought about August, end of August. Before that, my brother's birthday camping trip up in the Shasta County area is going to be happening at his new place.
Right.
There's even talk of
that's like July?
Yeah.
So Drew's brother's birthday, July 10th.
I don't know which. Yeah, that was a placeholder. I just talked to him.
Yeah, it's a placeholder.
There's even a possibility that Alterum will go to that, and we will film a music video at owner's property on that weekend. That may happen, but regardless, the plan is to go and to have a good time there. I don't know what the flights are for July.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like weird time.
So,
shizzle.
Can I are we having another one?
Another one?
Yeah. Let me get one. Final Corp.
Hey Mom, what's for dinner?
Well, I was thinking of making some gelled meat casserole.
But we had that for breakfast.
Well, how about a nice big stack of salt pancakes with melted gummy bear sauce?
But we had that for lunch today at school.
Okay, honey. How about a couple of bowls of mayonnaise ice cream?
Cool. All right. Yippee. Can I have the poison ivy flavored ice cream?
You sure can.
And dirt fudge.
Yep.
Oh Mom, food's the best.
Final Corp. It'll be fine.
Dude, that Final Corp company, they sure do hold strong through the pandemic. Have they sent you? I know you were hammering them for some more ad copy, but I thought I saw on one of their posts that they were considering some new quarantine items.
Yeah, they're pretty much closed due to COVID, but they do have a new product. It's pretty exciting. It's called Unacid.
Ooh.
So let's say you take it. I mean, I would never do this, but let's say you took acid, right? And then like right after you take, like 10 minutes after you take it, you get a call like, oh, we got to go meet with the bank today. Or we got to meet with your kids' teachers today. Some appointment that you forgot about. And you're like, fuck, I'm just going to be tripping my balls off at that time. What do I do? Final Corp's here to help. Final Corp has something called Unacid. If you take it within the first hour of after taking acid, it will just cancel out the acid effects and you'll be fine. You'll be totally sober, totally normal, be able to function. Which I think is actually useful. It's quite a change for them because usually all their products are detrimental, hurtful, counterproductive. But Unacid, I think, is actually a pretty cool invention.
So what happens if you take Unacid if you're just in a normal state?
Well, it's like Diet Game Day Ice Light. You become more sober. The negative, remember Diet Game Day Ice Light, negative ABV?
Yeah, it hydrated you further.
Yeah, so you could actually get undrunk by drinking Diet Game Day Ice Light.
Beer. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Vinyl Corp, they did a post. Have you heard? It's called the Resperdontor. It was a lot like a respirator.
Huh. Tell me more.
It was a lot like a respirator, but instead of pushing air in, it pulled it out because really you have enough, and other people need the air. So Vinyl Corp's Resperdontor, and so it makes it so there's less air for you because you have too much.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, that was
for like swimmers and divers, pilots. You got too much air.
Yeah, what are you doing?
Quit hogging the air.
Yeah. You making any more air? Don't think so.
It's good. Need to get back into my Final Corp production. Oh, I have an alternative to Switcher.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's something called Open Broadcaster software.
Will it work with old iPhones?
It'll work with old iPhones. The only thing is the iPhones have to be lightning cable connect, so they have to be like plugged in
Through the power?
through like the lightning cable.
Oh, they need to be plugged into a device?
To the computer that's running the software. Works pretty great though. I just today started messing with it. It's pretty cool.
I have 2 USBs on this computer. Can I do 2 at once? Oh no, I have 2.
Yeah, you should be able to do, I don't know what the limit on USB devices is, but it's more than 2.
Lightning or mini USBs too, because this is the Pro. I don't know if those would work.
Yeah, I would get just an adapter that goes like a mini USB to like 3 USB, like a USB hub, so to speak, so you can plug like multiple regular USB devices into your computer.
Oh, I understand. I actually have yours. That's here still.
Yeah, use that because I have some. So
Okay. Because then I could use that to do like 2 or 3 cameras at once.
yeah, and then but they would all have to be connected by cable.
Right.
Which,
But you would switch her from the computer instead of a phone, I'm guessing.
yeah,
I love it.
which is awesome because you could you basically you don't need Wi-Fi, so you could have a mobile sort of AV production studio.
Off
As long as you had cables that were long enough, if need be.
Does it have to be iPhones?
I don't know. I just like right before our podcast, I was messing with it, and I was like, "Oh wow, it actually works."
Is it not a pay $30 a month kind of thing?
It's open source, so it's pay zero.
Can you donate? That'd be cool.
You can donate.
Yeah, I would donate to something like that.
Open source, I think, is it's very sort of I guess socialist of a concept, but it works great. Like you know how Teslas they originally patented all their shit because they're worried that other car companies would be so aggressively competing with them that they would steal their patents, blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
And then Tesla was like, actually, sadly, they really aren't competing with us. So we don't have to protect our patents like we thought we did.
Yeah.
And they just open sourced all their patents.
Yeah.
How fucking awesome is that?
The awesomest.
If you wanted to build a Tesla, you could.
I could make one.
You could make it identical to the actual Tesla, and there would be no patent infringement.
It would be mine.
Don't forget to ask about the plant.
Hold on 1 second. What did you say?
I heard what she said.
Oh yeah.
It's funny. I can hear her better than you can.
Ha. We got some plants.
Yeah,
recently.
just show her the feed. Show her the feed later.
Yeah. But she wanted me to ask you about how to improve our garden.
Oh, me advice. I don't know.
So we have
California
garden advice. We started to have California weather today, actually, yesterday and today.
It's so bright in there. It's like I kind of want to look out your window. Is that possible?
Yeah.
Nice. There she is. Some clouds. Beautiful.
Yesterday it was super muggy all day, super humid all day. And then the typical New England weather, it's super hot and muggy. And then there's like a brief thunderstorm. And then all the humidity dissipates and you get this kind of California, 60, 70, cool, light breeze weather. Pretty awesome.
Sounds nice.
You have to endure the shitty mugginess, humidity.
Mind humidity, honestly, like that's not a part I disliked about Texas or other places I've been to that were humid. I didn't mind it too much. But like I'm working these days. It's been already like it was hot. We had a heat wave and it was like 102, but it was dry. And I sound like a dad when I say like it was a dry heat. It wasn't bad. Like I barely felt it.
Yeah.
Other people were looking at the number and feeling all aghast, and I was like,
it's the humidity that fucks you.
yeah, I'm okay. But even that, it's like I don't know. Just don't make me cold. Just don't make me cold.
Yeah. Spoken like a native Californian.
Well, even those nights we spent out in the hammocks, and it's like there was one of those one or two of those trips. I would wake up from being cold, like wake up because I was too cold to sleep.
Yeah, that sucks.
Like, try to adjust something, and then I would like warm up the love handle just enough that was like becoming blue, and I was like, Oh my God. And you would wake up every couple hours from being cold and like, okay, time to ride 60 miles. It's like,
We didn't have sleeping pads like for the first, maybe only the first trip, but
remember my first hammock?
yeah, I do.
Remember that? Did it even work once? I think it worked once.
It worked once, yeah.
And Samuel P. And then we took it to Angel Island and it shit the bed and I slept on the ground. Like, wow.
Yeah, there's a room for improvement on the bike order loadout too, I think.
Dude, have you seen the super sick hammocks that they have an outside, they tie to 2 trees and there's like a condom kind of thing that slides over the outside and then it's just like a little rope. And you just kind of have a rope and you stuff it in your bag. But you open it up and you actually climb in from the bottom, has its own rain fly built in.
Yeah, I have seen that.
Like more flat.
It's like a sheath.
It's a human sheath.
Yeah.
You're fully in it. It's a tent. It's a hanging tent, sort of.
Yeah. See that's
fully rain proof. When I have only filled my hammock up with rain when it's rained.
Yeah, I mean we had sort of makeshift. We had super makeshift rain flies, but to have it all integrated, it's like perfect. Like just a little capsule.
Yeah. And it's like the whole mat is super important. I think this one has kind of a built-in mat. Could be wrong, but
yeah, I've seen those too.
Titties off out there.
Or the ones that like you can with full snow environment. It has like an outside like insulator. It actually goes outside the hammock, but it's like on the bottom.
Yeah, it's like a sleeve. I've seen you slide.
Yeah.
Good, and that way you can't. When you're carrying it, you gotta think about it. So you want to be uphill in the rain, carrying that.
Oh, I remembered what I was going to talk about earlier. The e-bike thing.
Okay.
So I had a new perspective on this. You know, bike quarter warriors, awesome. Just using your own power, right? The one thing that I have never heard until recently about e-bikes was the psychological component, which is you get on the e-bike and you're sort of pedaling and you're like, you know, you're going uphill and you're not really pedaling that much. You're not exerting yourself. It makes you feel wicked strong. So you feel like just awesome. You feel like a great surge of like, wow, I'm super powerful, super strong. And the guy at the bike store, he's like, yeah, there's something called the e-bike smile. He's like, when we give, you know, when we let people go do test rides with e-bikes, they come back and they're just, you know, their smiles wrapped around their head. And he's like, they rarely don't buy after test driving. And so it's more than just like not being sweaty, blah, blah, blah. There's a whole psychological element to it that I just wasn't even thinking about.
Oh, like the sheer joy of just twisting a thing and going wee?
Yeah, and just like a superpower.
Dude, have you driven a motorcycle?
Yeah, it's been a while, but it's
That's
different
like
than
Palpatine. That's like Palpatine power.
it's different than a motorcycle, because motorcycles you feel like you're just restraining it enough, like you could easily just fucking go 100% and just annihilate everything.
Yeah, that is
it's almost like too powerful, you know. Because and the other things is like you're with cars and cars are usually going faster, so it's just the psychology is similar in that you're free, you know. You have this motorcycles, you feel freer than you do in a car. E-bike is a little different than motorcycle though. It's not as badass, but you still feel like, wow, I'm just like super strong and I don't even need to pedal. I just go up a fucking vertical cliff.
It's maybe the difference between the light and the dark, because the light side of the Force, you would be grateful that you could twist a knob and move at 22 miles an hour in gleeful silence. Up hills and like, that's the light side. The dark side is, I want to go 200 miles an hour. You know, it's like, okay.
So I think it's not impossible that someday I might get an e-bike. But I think it would just be for like commuting. I think bike order would always, never say never, but I think it would always be manual sort of power.
You would never do a hybrid. Like, I could see adding something to this bike to make it partially electrified eventually. You wouldn't do that for bike order?
Maybe.
I don't know.
Because part of bike order warrior, the warrior part is the struggle, is that you're taking on pain and suffering, and you're doing battle. But I think e-bike would be cool just for like commuting, just in terms of like saving money and shit.
Yeah, instead of driving a car.
You amortize the cost over a few years, and it's like you've made your money back already.
You save the wear and tear on the van.
Yeah.
You instead of buying gas, you just plug in, and your electric bill goes up nominally on a little bike.
Like insurance and stuff. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, dude, get an e-bike for your commute. What are you talking about?
And it's like if you designed a city from the ground up, you could see how no one would have a car, but probably everyone would have some sort of bicycle.
Now, since you're a skateboarder,
scooter,
would you ever consider some kind of scooter? Yeah, like that's what I'm saying. Like, would you ever consider like the Segway 9-bot? It's about $300, pretty fast, and would go your full distance and back. And
is that the single wheel thing?
No, it's got the 2 wheels with the board, the batteries in between the wheels under the part where your feet go. It's got one stick up and then like a handle. It's like the bird scooters you've seen.
Oh, okay.
It's like that kind of. But now, would you go there? Because that has all the power you need. But easier to store than having a big old electric bike you're trying to not get stolen somewhere,
Yeah, maybe.
This is me, the practical guy, wondering if. Because like a standard scooter.
It's almost like my objection to that would just be like a weird, something that doesn't make sense, like an irrational aesthetic thing, Because like with bicycling, you feel it's close to walking because you're sort of, your legs are alternating, pushing. But with a scooter, it's kind of like, I don't know. Again, it's not a rational thing. It's more irrational. I don't know if I would do that. Or like a motorized skateboard.
Yeah. Because you're a skater guy.
It's like, I like that because it's such a small thing. Like you could just pick it up and bring it inside. You don't have to lock it up anywhere. Mm-hmm. It's not super expensive.
You get to slide around on a skateboard again.
Yeah. But then it's like, well, part of the allure of skateboarding is like bike order warriors. Like you're doing it yourself. It's self-powered. So I don't know. There's a lot of variables there.
Well, there is also the seat factor of a bicycle. So where it's like you get the joy whoosh of a bicycle with a seat. You don't have to stand up. But you get to also go woo with the power of the sun.
It's like you're like sitting, walking.
Yeah.
You're like sitting down, but you're sort of walking.
That's it. The sit walker is the new. The sit walker is what we call like the new. We basically invent a bicycle that is the sit walker.
They have those like Stairmasters that are bikes. You've seen those.
Oh yeah, where you actually go just like this.
Yeah.
But it propels. Yeah. Oh yuck.
It's like
complicated.
Like, can't we just have the dignity of walking around? Like, is that so crazy?
But there's nothing like the control and speed and joy of a bicycle. I mean, a well-balanced, nice inflated wheels, with all of your habits checked. It's hard to beat. And so you do it all day because it's been fun.
Yeah, the control factor is like, again, it's like one of the, I'll keep saying it until I'm dead. It's one of the most perfectly designed machines ever.
For this planet and for roads.
Yeah. It's like we already have the infrastructure. Imagine if we just got rid of cars and people had bikes. The infrastructure would still be there and useful.
Super
Easy,
useful.
easy transition. Let's see if we can hear this.
Right.
Can you hear that?
No.
Okay, you didn't hear that? Let me see. It's weird, like I'm sharing my computer audio, but anything I play back in GarageBand doesn't seem to come through.
I found that as well on playthrough.
Which is odd. But
It is odd.
Let me
I found that
quickly
do it.
Let me quickly try to do this. Export, share, blah, blah, blah. Can I export this? All tracks to audio.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, this is totally weird, but let's see what happens. Well, you can always save it till next week. Just something I've been fucking with.
Is it a kind of good thing?
Yeah, a little bit.
Fuck yeah.
But it's not really working.
Well, get this. While you're doing that, Tim of the Rowdy Gents, he's kind of continually recording his music. And he was asking me to, one of the songs he's working on now, if I would do some like drums for like the second half of the song.
Mm-hmm.
But he wants me to do it through MIDI on the TD50. So it's like, I'm not totally sure how that's going to work. But he wants to be able to like put it on the grid essentially.
He wants you to record your drums as a MIDI instrument on the track?
Instead of like audio tracks on a WAV file.
Huh.
Well, I think he's really editing the bazoinkers out of this song. It's not like he's making a track and moving on. He's like, this is one he's been working on and re-recorded. He's got people from other countries to do part. And he's like really, really trying to make it a thing. But the drums suck, and so he needs better drums. But he wants to control every aspect of it, but he also wants me to do it. So it's like a funny. So I have to like take my magical supercomputer and turn it into a thing from the 60s, technology from the 60s, 70s, and then reconfigure it into clicks and beeps. And it's like, it's an immense amount of technology for something that is so close to what a computer would do. I'm not sure what the difference is.
Well, you have that. You have that interface.
I have this, I have my little 2-channel. So I would go MIDI out of the TD50 into the interface, and then interface to the computer, and then I don't even know.
Yeah. Like, why would it need to be MIDI? Why not just do it?
Right. I think he wants to click it in. I think he wants to make it easy to quantize.
I see. Interesting. For some reason, I can't export this file, I guess. So I guess that's it. Give me one more second here.
I even have a second here too.
Export.
I think I played you something last week. Yeah, this is, I don't know how we would, I think you'd have to be like this. It should be pretty lame.
Hmm.
How bad does this sound?
Sounds okay.
There you go. There you go. A little sample. What do you got going on?
Oh, I don't know. I'm trying to just export this thing as a MP3, but
Oh, that shouldn't take too long.
it's in Logic Pro, so I don't know what the hell's happening.
Yeah. Everyone's trying to make me not use GarageBand anymore. They're like, you got to switch over to Reaper.
Oh yeah, Reaper. I think we used Reaper for Vampire and a Volcano stuff.
Yeah. Which I still love that those songs live, or one of them lives on in memorial in that double music video of the first season of the Bike Order Warriors.
Yeah, do you remember where you got that from? Where you got that file from?
It was on the old iMac
Mm.
that is now gone. Actually, someone wiped and repaired and is using it.
Oh, okay. Huh. I wonder if I have that somewhere. I must.
Sure, we emailed it to each other at some point. I think that's how I found it. Yeah, it's in email. It's in Gmail somewhere.
Okay.
Like an MP3 of it.
I'm just gonna look this up now because I feel like an idiot.
Yeah, I'm in no hurry.
Export Logic Pro file as.
Since we're not live streaming anymore, you could even like chop a bit of this. I don't know if you.
That's true. Yeah.
I don't know what your process is these days as far as reviewing and editing and posting, the time it takes, and I'm used to doing that part.
I've just been straight up uploading it raw.
Fuck yeah. Raw. Is the iTunes getting the audio, or is that kind of maybe just skip it or stop essentially?
I don't know what the hell is going on here.
I still listen
Sorry,
to podcasts
I'm just looking at something.
like a weirdo. I know other people using like SoundCloud and stuff for podcasts, but I still use iTunes because it's simple and easy to delete. Yeah.
All right, I'll stop trying to make that work. Maybe next week.
Maybe next week. So are we going to attempt some kind of like live jam somehow? Like if I stick the computer yeah, we would have to be like having a video call on my phone for like another person here, but then we would do the audio and then we would turn that off and then do the audio for my computer only, but you'd get it from the DAW and a click potentially.
Yeah.
So we could aim to a click is what we could probably do.
Yeah, right.
So like,
or like if it was delayed by a measure, so that I'm actually hearing it like a measure later than what you're playing.
That wouldn't matter. Yeah, what we would hear would be strange, but what would be on the video would be cohesive.
Mm.
It would take some getting used to potentially, but we could jam on a click track.
Yeah, I wonder how that would work. Export region.
You would hear my computer audio click track. You would hear that, and then you would play to that, and so would I. And then later it would look okay.
Yeah. Selection as audio file. I'm going to try one more thing here. Export selection as audio file. Can't we just do that? AAF file. Yeah, in my head, I'm like, yeah, we're live streaming just because I'm used to thinking that way.
Yeah.
The fuck?
There we go.
Okay, there we go. Well, this is just preliminary. Too excited.
It's a long wait for this.
This is totally not done at all. Rough draft.
I know a bit about it, how the broken river grows. It goes around about it, ever joining other flows. I know a bit about it, how the broken river grows. It goes around about it, ever joining other flows. I know a bit about it, how the broken river grows. It goes around about it, ever joining other flows. I know a bit about it, how the broken river grows. It goes around about it, ever joining other flows.
And then, some kind of solo.
The chord?
That's it. Just the preliminaries.
Dude, that's sick, man. That's really cool. That feels really good. That so sounds like Aubrey Cloutier and a hit all at once.
Thanks, man.
That's great. That's great.
Playing a lot more bass these days. It's weirdly like homecoming or something.
Because of all the bass you're playing.
Yeah, it's like, well, why haven't I been doing this the whole time? Which I have been doing it the whole time, but just not as intensely.
Say hi. Here, say hi.
Hey!
Aubrey.
Hi, can you hear me?
I can.
No. Oh, you can. How's it going?
Really good. How are you?
Good.
Chilling in your office. No big deal.
No big deal.
I like that your light fixture is faced against the wall so that it reflects off.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of indirect light.
Mm.
How are you doing, Rebecca? Getting your
Doing really well.
alone time in?
Well, I wasn't alone. I was with my mom and 2 daughters. But yeah, we're doing great. Doing well.
Yep.
Good.
I don't know what else I would ask for.
Mhm. More friends.
Well, besides the pandemic and the riots, yeah.
I gotta go.
All right.
Baby. It was good seeing you.
Good to see you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Well, sounds good.
Yeah.
It sounds
Dude,
it sounds like a stopping point.
Yeah, it feels like a good point to stop. I just want to reiterate that song was cool. How long did it take you to make that?
Like one whole day.
Okay. You did everything by yourself? Did you show it to your lovely lady?
Yeah, she liked it.
Of course she liked that. Thing's sick, man. It's really cool. What's What's between it and being posted and you paying Facebook to spread it to 15?
Oh, I don't know. I think I just need to just wrap up the end of it.
You need a solo.
Maybe write some. I'm like repeating the same verse, so a little more lyrics. Tie it up in a nice little bow at the end. Maybe add some guitar.
It's sweet how it folds in together. It's good.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, we should leave on that positive note then.
Cool. Well, good to see you.
Yeah.
Love you, and I'm sure
Good to see
I'll
you.
talk to
I'm
you.
looking forward to. I look forward to some future time where you can podcast in person.
That'll happen for sure.
I don't know what that is, but I'm open. Maybe it's a Hyperloop.
Oh yeah.
Maybe it's you become very wealthy. Maybe you move to California. Who knows? We'll see. Maybe I move to Boston.
It's a date.
Okay. All right, man. Peace
All right,
and
man.
love. Thank you, imagination. Thank you, Final Corp. #Final Corp. All right. Peace.
All right. Bye bye.